Hey there, Video Psych here. Now, if you hear my brother, I am so sorry, but I felt that I needed to make this video now while he is sleeping. So let's get on with this. And, throughout my life, I've met, of course, me personally, I've met women that I've either liked or disliked, over time. But just to kind of start it off, one thing that I look for in a mate per se, and I'm kind of just making this video because a couple of people have been asking me this lately, not on the channel, but just recently. And so I decided to make a video about it. So the first thing that I tend to look for is if somebody has a very good, uh, God dang it, I mean, a very good sense of humor for one. Turn on to me, I would say personality wise is definitely somebody with a very good sense of humor. That is one thing that's if a woman that I meet doesn't have a very good, let's say, sense of humor, and they don't have to be funny, but if they can't even take a joke or laugh at a joke, that is just a no go for me most of the time. Like they would have to make up for quite a bit for me to really like them per se. But yeah, it's just I think it's funny because some people have been, acting surprised when I said at one point, they're like, hey, would you ever go out with a woman? And I said, yeah, I mean, maybe at some point, and they're like shocked when I said that, like they thought I hated women or something, and I don't hate women, man. I mean, come on, man. I mean, just because I have a love doll doesn't mean I fucking hate women or whatever. Or like I'm just never gonna go out with a woman. But, and that's the thing. I think that a lot of people out there are just trying to kind of do their own thing nowadays. And that's kind of one thing that you have to look out for. And I guess you could say that's another thing that I look for is this a person that is actually, serious is the thing. Are they actually serious about the relationship? And are they gonna actually like stick to it? Are they actually gonna commit? Is the thing. Are they actually gonna be an investment into the relationship? You know what I mean? And I really don't care what kind of relationship you have because especially nowadays there's many types of different relationships and there's plenty of people they don't even legally get married anymore, but they kind of have their own love relationship, with each other, whether it's an open relationship or something like that. And I just don't really care about shit like that, of course. Now, if let's say a woman cheated on me, I mean, I'd be kind of like whatever, to be frank. Some maybe depending on the case. I mean, I remember I used to be with a woman that she had like I don't know multiple guys that she used to be with, and to be frank, even at the time, I was just like whatever about it. But then she started comparing me to some of her other boyfriends and shit, and then I just was like, "Yep, I'm out of here." And that's another thing is that do not ever compare your partner or boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, with your other girlfriends. That is something that you just do not cross. That is a line that you do not cross with any of your lovers. But another thing about that, I think it's so funny that a lot of people out there just act like they're polyamorous when they actually are just a swinger. Are you actually that's another thing I guess you could say I look for sometimes is are you actually polyamorous or are you a swinger? with an open relationship. Either way, really don't care what kind of lifestyle you live, but being a swinger and then calling yourself polyamorous are two fucking different things, okay? And I think sometimes people don't want to feel bad about their swinger lifestyle, so they call themselves polyamorous, like they think they love everybody that they fuck, I guess, on first meeting. They just love everybody that they fuck on first meeting, right? But that's the thing. I just don't really see it like that. If you're just going around fucking people and you have a freedom in your relationship like that, that's fine, but that's not polyamorous, okay? Somebody that's polyamorous is somebody that has love for multiple lovers. They can't just love one person. They have to they love like up to at least a few people, male, men, women, whatever. You know what I mean? That is what somebody is polyamorous. Sure, they might have sex between all their lovers, but they don't. It's not just an open season sex where they have sex with their lovers and other people, like people with open relationships. They just have sex with their lovers that they hang out with. They don't just go around having sex with him, her, this, and that. That's not what polyamorous is. Okay, so I think I've explained that enough. But yeah, man, we just live in a strange world nowadays. And, people around my area, I just think lots of times don't really even talk about shit like this anymore because I just don't think there's a lot of traditional people around this area. But the thing is, another thing I look for is if somebody is just way too damn traditional, you know what I mean? Is somebody, let's say a woman, for me in my case, is this woman just a little bit too old fashioned? Are they just maybe a bit too much of a, isolated farmer that is very traditional, etc. Because, this is Iowa. And sometimes I meet women like that here where they're very isolated, they're very naive. And sometimes they are nice, but it's just like, yeah, I don't know about this. I think our lifestyles, this is your life here and this is my life here. Like we just are too far apart to have a relationship. And that's another thing that I tend to look for is, are our lifestyles close enough and similar enough that we can touch each other and actually work with each other? You know what I mean? That's another thing I would say. But another thing that I tend to look for is if somebody is just way too much of a hypocrite or somebody that is just way too dramatic, which is a major turn off to me. And another thing that I used to kind of be into was if the woman was, let's say, kind of not very intelligent. Because when I was younger, to me, a woman that was less intelligent was easier to, get with, right? Well, the thing is, even if that's maybe true or was true, which I'd say on average is maybe more or less more true, the thing is, I cannot tell you how many stupid ass fucking things that dumb ass women have done to me over the years. A lot more dumb women have either done shitty things to me or have abused me when I was younger, when I was a teenager, over just the dumbest bullshit. And when that happened to me for years straight, I pretty much just stopped talking to all dumbass women or non-intelligent women that, were around in my distance, and within arm's reach. I just stopped talking to them. And if they said something that I felt was unintelligent, I just stopped talking to them, etc. and I started hanging out more with the more intelligent women that I could get along with better, etc. You know, because and it's funny because the more intelligent women were always nicer to me most of the time, and would try to do less shit to me. They would understand what I was saying to them better, etc. And obviously, they would more than likely be somebody that would actually lots of times be better in bed. Actually, I figured out along the way as well. More intelligent women tend to be, they tend to try harder in bed, actually, is the thing. Not that not intelligent women aren't good in bed, but I'm just saying, just on average, per se. And what else is there? Man, yeah, like some of the dumb shit that women have done to me over the years. I remember this one time, this one woman wouldn't even let me like help the other like kids in class one time. And then so I instead of her getting in trouble for not letting me do jack shit in class, I got in trouble. And then I tried talking to the teacher about it, and apparently I was just being lazy and non-productive during class time, even though it was pretty clear that she was not letting me do jack shit in class. Every time I was pick up a spoon in culinary class to stir something, she would just take my spoon away and tell me to buzz off, like quite literally. And that was just kind of the thing back then. And again, that is just almost probably the number one thing nowadays. Is just women that are just not intelligent, but per se. But but on a side note, I actually thought it was funny. I remember I did an experiment a long time ago, like maybe 10ish years ago, where I asked a lot of men, actually at one point over the internet, about, what are the things that they find in women, you know, to be attractive and non-attractive per se, and what kind of women are they looking for, etc. And what are they not looking for? And then I actually went over to the woman's side at one point, and I asked basically the women the same thing, exactly the same way, etc. And let me tell you, I thought it was so funny that I found at least 9 out of 10 questions and answers were exactly the same as the men's. I hardly saw a difference between the results of the men and women and what they were looking for in a mate. And also, I even did one a few years ago with the gay community, and the results were also the same. And I just thought it was so fucking funny. But let me tell you what, man. One thing I did learn a few years ago is that it seems that, man, the gay community has like way less sexual issues than the straight community does. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, don't get me wrong, the gay community has their issues with relationships and shit, but Jesus Christ, when it comes to especially like sexual issues and shit, and whether they're gonna have sex or not, it just seems like they have so many less fucking issues. I mean, and look at us. Lots of times we have to pay women for sex. In one way or another, we have to pay women for sex. Whether it's, something we're paying for them for shopping or a golden ring, or quite literally just paying for sex. And lots of times the gay community doesn't have this fucking issue. I mean, shit, with the gay community, I just think it's so funny how, I mean, when it comes to sex, and it's like, there's just way less bullshit. It's like, okay, you more than likely are going to hear somebody in the gay community be like, okay, are we going to just have sex or what? Rather than, okay, when's the transaction going to go through? So you pay me and blah blah bullshit. There's just so much way less bullshit. I think if you get my point when it comes to sex in the gay community. Whereas it's funny how it's like they, in a sense, have so much more fun with sex than we do. It's just so much less bullshit. And I just think it is so fucking funny. And I always think it's funny how so many men on the straight community, they're always so afraid of something bad happening to them, like a fucking trap or something. And that's another issue with the straight community. You know what I mean? But, enough about that, I guess. So, because that from that point on, I guess I would be kind of going off topic from there. But in a nutshell, that's what I tend to be going through, think about when, it comes to looking for a mate. And that's also what it seems like a lot of other people sometimes are also considering when it comes to looking for a mate as well. But man, especially when it comes to like some people that are just overly dramatic. Oh my God, just fucking stay away. Just, ugh. But with that being said, of course, there's more to say, but I don't want to go on for like an hour or two talking about this. So I'll just leave it here and I'll just let you guys leave, comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.